know the story of Deborah Samuel Yakubu, a Christian student from Nigeria? She was killed by a mob, a Muslim student mob, at the Shehu Shagari College of Education in Sokoto, northern Nigeria. All they had to do to this lady was to accuse her of blasphemy against their prophet and Islam. And the Muslim students picked up clubs, sticks, stones, and strike her till she died, ladies and gentlemen. They don't have any room for evidence. An accusation is good enough to end your life when Sharia is practiced. And that is what happened to Deborah Yakubu. Ladies and gentlemen, here is why Islam will be a problem for Ghana in the next decade, ladies and gentlemen. Islam, for your information, is the only religion in the world currently which does not intend to coexist with other religions. Let that sink in. I repeat, classical Islam, the practice of fundamental Islam, is the only religious ideology in the world that does not come to or come into any country or place to live side by side other religions. It is the only religion that has consistently expanded to dominate and to displace other religions, whether through force or conquest or demographic growth that eventually outnumbers the local population. And Ghana, ladies and gentlemen, will begin to see one of these things happen in the next decade. First of all, the population of Muslims in Ghana is nearly 20%, if not more. So we are edging close to that time where it either becomes half the population or more than half the population. And when that time comes, ladies and gentlemen, remember I told you, you'll see everything I've talked about the practice of the religion happening in this country. The practice of Islam, especially Sunni Islam, which is the majority amongst Ghanaian Muslims, share in a doctrine of taking over every place they've settled, everywhere they have been to. This is found in many places in their Quran, their holy book. For instance, in Quran 48:28, Quran 61 and 9, and Quran 9:33. Let me read one of that to you from Quran 9:33. It says, "It is he who has sent his messenger with guidance and the religion of truth to manifest over every religion, even though the polytheists dislike it." So whether you as a Christian or a traditionalist or an atheist like it or not, that's irrelevant. They are commanded to make Islam superior over all religions. And Quran 33 and 21 makes a claim that their prophet Muhammad is the perfect example for all of mankind to follow. That's why you hear them fight people, including kill people who speak against their prophet. I'm coming to the issue of the Malam in Ghana who was saying in the video that should anyone insult their prophet, cut their throat. I'm coming to that in a second. But I want to tell you this before then. These country names I'm going to list were previously Christian countries until Islam came and conquered the local population. Check it out. Egypt, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Iraq, and many other Middle Eastern countries were all Christian majority countries before the 7th century. You can check it out. European countries like Spain, Portugal, Sicily in Italy, Cyprus, Hungary, and parts of Romania were also taken by Muslim caliphates. It had to take Christian kingdoms like the Asturias and Leon and Castile and Navarre and Aragon to fight back as a resistance group to reclaim these Christian lands. And later the Crusades took place, which took back most of these countries back from the Islamic rule. Ladies and gentlemen, the same thing wants to repeat itself. The Islamic conquest that was led by their caliphs from the 7th century and ended not long ago. Listen, not long ago. The last caliphate ended in the lifetime of our great-grandparents. For your information, it ended in Turkey, the Ottoman Empire, in 1924. It's just 102 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, in the lives of our great-grandparents. They want to bring it back, this time to every part of the world, and Ghana is almost about to experience it. You and I can only live together in peace when we both accept to respect the religious standpoints of one another. The moment one group thinks they are superior or must be superior and should annihilate any other type of worldview or convert them by force, war is what happens next, ladies and gentlemen. The doctrine of Islam is to take over the world completely, and the character they want the world to follow or emulate is their prophet Muhammad, their prophet. Now, let's talk about the Islamic teachers' pronouncements in Ghana. So this Islamic preacher, along with other Islamic preachers, had to say this about speaking against their prophet. Take a listen, because I need to break it down after the video appropriately. I'm going to break it down. You have to watch this video till the very end. Take a listen.
Wallahi ukunwa wa yeboni ebetuma aka say police phone betimi wa ai wallahi tallahi ukunwa obekwa aljanna asi mi si wallahi tallahi ukunwa obekwa aljanna na mfa say abada chi watu onya na okunu ase wadi ko sheni Muhammad Adam Islam sum shishaya nyame ashatu ono obi biara wobatu ko sheni Muhammad Adam bia munya na abunkunu.
Great. Now, what did you hear? And I'm going to translate for those who don't understand the local language. He said, if anyone insults our prophet, cut his throat. That's the translation, the totality of what he said. He spoke Twi language in Ghana. Anyone who insults the prophet Muhammad, he should be killed when caught, he said. When you kill him, you have not sinned, he said. It can be said that the police should arrest me, as he's speaking, right? Yes, if you kill him, you'll go to heaven, he said. Don't bother whether the government will imprison you or not. When you get him, kill him. When you get him, kill him, because he has insulted the Prophet Muhammad. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the translation. In Islam, the laws their God Allah has provided for them is that anyone who insults the Prophet should be killed. Cut his throat, he said. Cut his throat. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the words of an imam, a teacher in their religion. Now, there are other statements from other Islamic teachers, one of them called UTI Dawa, who said if anyone says the Prophet Muhammad is not a prophet, deserves to be beheaded. You will be beheaded, he emphasized. Watch this video also.
I will tell the audience who have been watching us all along that from the way it is, the world is actually coming to an end. Mm-hmm. And there are false teachings and false prophets everywhere, mm-hmm. teaching things you never knew, mm-hmm. nor Allah has never taught you. Mm-hmm. And anybody mm-hmm. who associates himself in Islam that claims Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is a false prophet, mm-hmm. deserves even to be beheaded. Mm-hmm. He'll be beheaded. So such people should be aware of them and stay away from such people.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what is being taught to some Ghanaian Muslims in the mosques, and we are only privileged to hear this because of the internet. So you can imagine how long these Islamic teachers have been teaching these kinds of messages and how long they have been teaching their listeners these ideologies, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, how many of such people do you think we have in Ghana currently, of such teachers? Think about it. Especially now that the government is in bed with the Islamic world because they are buying our gold. How many of such teachers do you think we have here? I mean, the government is willing to introduce their language in Ghanaian public schools and receive as many refugees as they can into this country. What can they do, ladies and gentlemen? Have you seen the sharp increase in the number of Middle Easterners in Ghana recently? I want you to visit the shopping malls. You see them there in their numbers, coming from all over the Middle East. But I'm not coming to address the two Muslim teachers, their statements. If anyone insults Muhammad, cut their throat. And if anyone says Muhammad is not a prophet, behead him. That is what the two of them said. I am a Christian, and I'm really convinced and comfortable where I am. And according to my Bible, especially in Galatians chapter 1 and 8, Muhammad is not a prophet according to my Bible. We don't recognize him as a prophet according to my Bible. That's why we aren't Muslims. Remember, that's why I'm a Christian, because we don't recognize him. And this is directly against the teachings of the Quran. And so by reading my Bible verse, I have insulted Muhammad and worthy of death. That is what they are saying. But this is where the two imams got it wrong. Freedom of speech is a constitutional provision in Ghana. Choosing not to recognize someone by their title or description has never been a crime in Ghana. And for that reason, what these guys are saying is a direct attack and an incitement of their followers against the sovereign constitution of the Republic of Ghana, ladies and gentlemen. They are attempting to create fear and panic in the country, which is also a crime. And that's why Islam tries to replace the secular constitution of this country and all the countries in the world with Sharia, so that acts like these, situations like these will be permissible under the Sharia. Do you know the story of Deborah Samuel Yakubu, a Christian student from Nigeria? She was killed by a mob, a Muslim student mob, at the Shehu Shagari College of Education in Sokoto, northern Nigeria. All they had to do to this lady was to accuse her of blasphemy against their prophet and Islam. And the Muslim students picked up clubs, sticks, stones, and strike her till she died, ladies and gentlemen. They don't have any room for evidence. An accusation is good enough to end your life when Sharia is practiced. And that is what happened to Deborah Yakubu. Ladies and gentlemen, in all of this, do you know where my focus really lies? Listen to this part. If Ghanaian Christians choose to attack Ghanaian Muslims because the Muslims say Jesus is not God and Jesus is not the Son of God, but only a prophet, do you have any idea what this country will turn into if we allow these things to continue? Because to the Christians, which I am one, that's an insult to say, it is an insult to say that Jesus is not the Son of God or is not God. This is why secular constitutions become necessary, where multi-religions and multicultural people live. It guarantees the freedoms of association and speech to all people and checks all the nuances. If calling their prophet a fake prophet or not a prophet a crime worthy of losing one's head, then ladies and gentlemen, what should be the punishment for calling Jesus not the Son of God or God? What should the Christians also do? If we continue like this country will flip over in the next 10 years. This is why I want you to watch till the end. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where the government of the day steps in and allows the civil laws to work. These two imams, I understand, have been picked up by the Ghana police and all of that, and that's how it's supposed to be. But they must be investigated and tried before court. The full length of the laws of Ghana concerning causing fear and panic and inciting people to kill must be applied. They must be used as a reference point to any type of religion and people who want to act like that. And I saw an apology video from the first imam and it looked so comical to me, ladies and gentlemen. The Malam didn't come to apologize, but to point to us what the Quran actually says, which is true. He isn't a bad Muslim and a bad Muslim teacher. He isn't an extremist Muslim teacher. He is a true Muslim teacher, teaching what the Quran has commanded him to teach. Exactly so. That is what he came to do. When you read the hadith, which are commentaries of the companions of their prophet after he died, You'll be blown away by the teachings they are supposed to follow through as Sunni Muslims. The religion Islam is coming, and it's coming alongside the Arabian culture. It changes the belief system of every place it goes to, whether by force, like it happened in Egypt and many other places, or it changes it by outnumbering you. It changes the dress code of the people and make them look more Arabian, and the way they talk and the way they live out their lives altogether. This is going to be a problem for a multi-religious and multi-ethnic country and a society like Ghana.
Follow us on Facebook, Ofayal, the nation's uncle. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Nation's Uncle TV. Follow us on TikTok, The Nation's Uncle. The Nation's Uncle gives you the raw truth. Thanks for watching.